So Brooklyn Lakers. Now, I know it's a regular season game, but we are getting to a later part of the year. You and I have talked about this before. Every good team has 4 or 5 regular season games that you look at and go, okay, that one said something to me. That said something. I watched the Lakers' physicality, and Vogel's a physical guy. He loves bigs. And they get Andre Drummond, and it felt a little Baylor Gonzaga with a pretty offense in Brooklyn. It's pretty. I got to tell you, the way the Lakers kind of pushed at them and Schroeder and Drummond, didn't you take away something from that, Chris?
Well, look, I'm hesitant to make too much out of this game. Because, look, last week when New Orleans beat a fully healthy Philadelphia team, did that mean anything? No. I mean, they had Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris, and they got beat. It meant nothing. The Clippers lost 2 weeks ago to Orlando. It meant nothing. So I don't want to make too much out of this game. All right, I think it's 1 of 72, no big deal. I will give you this, though, Colin. The physicality was apparent.
Yes.
All right. Andre Drummond was just beasting LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yep.
And I've said it about Philadelphia. And they play later this week, I believe, Brooklyn, Philadelphia. They should just go inside with Embiid against the Nets, but they won't. He'll be in there a little bit. He's posted up more than he's ever posted up. But in most of his stuff is going to be 17-footers, on the perimeter, which I think is not using their advantage against Brooklyn. The Lakers do have a formula, Colin, that I think will give Brooklyn trouble. Now, I've picked Brooklyn to win it, so we'll see. But I do think the Lakers have a formula that'll give them problem, and that's Drummond inside, and that's LeBron controlling the tempo, not letting it get too fast, controlling the tempo with the ball in his hands, and then they have that excellent defense. So turn it into a physical, nasty game. And Brooklyn doesn't want any of that. Brooklyn's the pretty boys. They want to shoot threes and dribble the ball like Marcus Haynes with Kyrie and all that stuff, right? If it gets tough and nasty, they really don't want any part of that. Here's the challenge for the Lakers, though, Colin. LeBron and AD really haven't played a lot with a dominant inside player, right?
True.
LeBron usually likes the floor spread. AD, even though he doesn't want to be the 5, he doesn't necessarily want somebody in there clogging up the middle. So they need to adjust to Drummond as well. There's some people think when they come back, he'll only play 25 minutes. Well, I think you want those 3 playing together, but it'll be an adjustment for them, just like Brooklyn has to adjust with its top players.
By the way, Lakers have won 5 of 8 without AD and LeBron, so give Frank Vogel and that staff some credit. They have adapted very well.
He's a good coach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen,
very good coach.
In the NBA, you don't have players, you don't win games. Spoelstra, by the way, Eric Spoelstra, we both love. LeBron left for a couple years. He didn't win. Then he got Jimmy Butler. Then he won. You got to have players. It is interesting in the West where I think we both agree that Portland feels too small and they don't have the wing defender. Same with Utah, although I like Utah. I think Denver is a 6. I think Denver pushes the Lakers. You like the Clippers, Lakers. Why do you think the Clippers match up so well?
Now, I do like Denver. I'll give you that. With Aaron Gordon, I mean, they got hammered last night by Boston. It happens. But they're 7-1 with Aaron Gordon. He's a nice fit. So they've gone up a notch in my view. But I think it's the Lakers and the Clippers as far as the 2 best teams. Because the Clippers have all the things. There were 3 areas I wanted improvement in from them. And I've seen them. Number 1, defensively, most of the season, they were like middle of the road defensively, which was ridiculous when you have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, not to mention Pat Beverly, Serge Ibaka, guys like that. Since the All-Star break, Colin, they've been a top 5 defense in the league. So I've seen the improvement on that end. That is huge. Then you bring in Rondo. What did they need? Leadership from a player standpoint. He gives you that, right? So now Kawhi doesn't have to be something he's not, which is the leader. He just wants to go out there and play. He can do that now. Paul George isn't the leader. Now it's Rondo, and you've even seen Paul George talk about that.
Yeah.
The third thing was they were bad in the clutch, down the stretch of games. Now Rondo is a distributor. He gets the ball to the right guys in the right places at the end of games. That game against Phoenix last week, in the fourth quarter, Rondo had 8 points, 3 assists, and was critical in the stretch run that blew the game open. He was getting it to Kawhi and PG in the right places. He also hit a few threes. He's one of those players, Colin, where he gets better when the stakes are higher. That's why he was no good in Atlanta. It didn't matter.
Right.
But you bring him to the Clippers and the stakes are high and he's playing well. So I think the Clippers, I'm picking the Lakers in the West, but I think the Clippers will give them a run for their money.
Last 3 weeks, Zion is averaging 33 a game, 62% field goals, 40% from three, 11 free throw attempts per game. In the last 3 weeks, best player in the league, statistically. I always hear this about Zion. He's good, but he is improving, Chris. Now he's point guard. I mean, I think people have to look around. He is, not only is he good, he's getting better at everything. He's adapting fast.
Well, his ball handling skills, and I know I talked to some people in New Orleans before the draft, and they thought that he could be like a ball handler. They weren't calling him a point guard, but they were saying, look, this guy, he can lead the break, he can handle the basketball, he can pass. So they saw this already, and he's not a true point guard, but what you see, Colin, when you watch him, it's the variety of ways in which he's getting it done, especially for a guy that doesn't really shoot jumpers. So he's bringing the ball up the court and he's going downhill. Nobody can stop him. He's getting it on the wing. He's getting it on the elbow. He's on the post. He's in the dunker spot under the basket. He's in the corner at times. He's in transition. Like, he is scoring in all types of ways. That's the first thing that's standing out to me. The second thing is that, as you said, as much as he's improved in these other areas, Colin, he's got so much more room for improvement. He's not shooting threes. He's not really shooting jump shots. He doesn't rebound that much. He's not defending yet. And so as he improves all of those things, because you need two things for those things. Athleticism, of course, he's got it. Strength, he's got it. Character, so you work on those things, and it's important to you to improve on those. He's got that. So I think he'll get better in those areas. And if he just can stay healthy, and I know he's been healthy this year, so maybe it's not an issue. But if he stays healthy and improves on these things, keeps his athleticism for 10 years, then it's going to be tough to deal with him. And I'm looking to see him start. That's the next step, starting to win.
Yeah.
Next year, we're going to be looking for them to win and make the playoffs.
Yeah, he's got a very natural magnetism that Kawhi doesn't have or Giannis doesn't have. And not very, by the way, most guys, like Zach LaVine's got all sorts of kind of like game magnetism, but I don't necessarily think he's a winning player. I think, to your point, there is something about Zion that jumps through the TV, his power, his smile, his style, his personality. It's fun. It's fun to watch. Good stuff. Chris Broussard, thanks, bud. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.